Steelers Nation, what is going on? Thank you guys very much for tuning in on yet another edition of the Steelers Culture Podcast, where we break down Pittsburgh Steelers football. And during the Week 3 preseason game between the Carolina Panthers, Steelers first-round pick Derrick Harmon sustained an unfortunate knee injury that scared the ever-living crap out of all of Steelers Nation, where he was carted off the field with a towel draped over his head and a very emotional face on him, and it didn't look good. But there was a promising update toward the end of the game where he was seen sitting on the Steelers bench between Cameron Hayward and TJ Watt with, good spirits and a smile on his face, and an update of which he walked to the bench, which is on the other side of where the Steelers locker room was. Now we have a true update here by Ian Rappaport.
Well, we actually have 3 different updates. It seems like every update gets better with each update, which is a good thing. But we're going to start with Ian Rappaport one. He says, and I quote, he said this just
yesterday.
Yeah, just yesterday. Friday afternoon, really. He said, Steelers first round pick defensive tackle Derrick Harmon, who was ruled out with a knee injury last night, was diagnosed with an MCL sprain, sources say. He's expected to be out about a month, which makes him a candidate to begin the year on IR, but could have been worse, and it definitely could have been worse. We all had deja vu of literally just last year with Troy Fautanu with the same injury, a knee injury that took him out essentially his entire rookie year. So, yeah, we all had the great fear that, oh no, here we go again, 2 years straight, our first round pick is going to be out with a similar injury. We can't go through with this, especially seeing how young the trenches are trying to get, how young the trenches are. We don't need these young guys being out. Thankfully, Derrick Harmon will not be out very long. Ian Rappaport had a report that mentioned that he could be out with about a month. Now, keep in mind, we are still about 2 weeks away from the season opener with the Jets, so that gives us a little bit of cushion where he could miss, according to Ian Rappaport's report, at least what we thought at the time, the first 3 or 4 weeks, which did make him an IR candidate, which at that point, you could put him on IR and wait until after the Week 5 bye to make sure he's fully healthy, knowing how long of a stretch we had. But there is a much improved update, according to Jerry Dulock. He says an MRI confirmed that Derrick Harmon has an MCL sprain that could keep him out 4 to 6 weeks per sources. But because there are 16 days at the time of the tweet, now 14 days from the time of injury till September 7th opener versus the Jets, it is conceivable Harmon could miss only a couple games. He is not, I repeat, not expected to be placed on IR. He also had a much better update just yesterday morning, stating that the Steelers have no intention of putting Derrick Harmon on IR and think it's possible he will miss only 1 game, which could be Week 1 versus the Jets. He could be back for Week 2. Every update gets better the more we get them, which is a great sign. Now, at the same time, as positive, as optimistic as these reports are, you still want to proceed with caution because you don't want to further cause injury on Derrick Harmon. Same thing with Troy Fautanu. He was very precautious with his injury last year. He played the majority of his snaps versus the Broncos in Week 2. And then that game, he suffered something so severe, he was out his entire rookie season. We don't want the same thing with Derrick Harmon. So although, according to Jerry Dulock, he could still only miss 1 game and he will not be placed on IR, you still want to be very cautious. So even though he could miss Week 1, there's still a chance he can miss Week 2 because the Steelers want to be precautious. Will they put him on IR? I don't think so. Ian Rappaport thinks that he could. Jerry Dulock said twice that he won't. Keep in mind, Isaac Seumalo was hurt all of training camp and all of preseason last year, and even he wasn't placed on IR, and he missed the first 4 games. The Steelers could have put Seumalo in IR and still would have brought him back eligible for the Week 5 game, which he played up until the rest of the regular season, and they still elected not to put him on IR. So, same thing here with Derrick Harmon. I don't think he'll be put on IR. I don't think he will be placed on injury reserve to make room for another guy on the roster for him to be designated to return after the first 4 weeks. Harmon will still make the 53, but obviously not be placed on IR initially. So I don't think he'll be placed on IR like Jerry Dulock is insinuating. How many games will he miss? I'm going to be as very precautious as possible if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers. this is a very important player. He had a very good camp. He had a very good preseason. He showed a lot of promise with his bull rush, with a lot of what he could do in the run game. He's a young player with a lot more to add. He's a future core piece on your defensive line. He is ideally your Cam Hayward replacement, right? You do not want to risk any further injury on him, especially seeing what happened to Roman Wilson last year and Troy Futano. Even Broderick Jones, a first-round pick a couple years back, had a elbow injury last year. You don't want to risk injury on these first-round picks. So although, according to Duloc, he could only miss week 1 versus the Jets, the Steelers should still be very precautious. There is no rush right now for Harmon because you still have Keanu Benton, who could play 3-tech, and you have Y.A. Black, who's coming off of an incredible preseason, an incredible game versus the Panthers, where he had 2 sacks on back-to-back plays. You got guys in the room that could step up in place for Harmon. That way you can ensure that whenever he plays, he is 100% healthy. You ensure that he is ready to go for the remainder of the season. You don't want a Futanu repeat last year. Make sure Harmon is healthy.
No, we don't want a repeat of what happened to Troy Futano, and that was unfortunate. And, I mean, we seen what happened when Broderick had to be put over back at right tackle to fill in, though he did better toward the later part of the season. But Harmon is a special talent. We all know this. We all saw the tape. We all saw, his highlights from Oregon and what he did in his lone season. I mean, the guy's meant to play the trenches.
Yes.
The guy's a true trench type of player. The guy is meant to play Steeler football. He plays like a Steeler. And he showcased that in camp and preseason. I mean, the guy knows how to get hurries. The guy knows how to pressure the quarterback. And he's more than capable of holding his own on the run. And he's a very valued type of player. I mean, he was already labeled as a starter before training camp even hit. He was already listed as the starter opposite of Cam Hayward because we have nobody else.
Well, there was no way Derrick Harmon wasn't going to be the starter coming out of the first-round pick selection. There was no way.
Because of the depth.
Not because of the depth. It's just, we cut Larry Young and Joby. We needed someone. Defensive line was the biggest need going to the draft, in my opinion.
And they didn't go heavy on free agency either.
Yeah.
How many defensive linemen did they sign in free agency? Barely any?
If anything,
maybe some depth guys, but that's about it.
If anything, there were camp bodies. That was it. So Derrick Harmon is an important piece. Yeah, we have Benton, we have Y.A. Black that can play those positions now, which is a good thing. Those guys are ideally the future alongside Derrick Harmon whenever Hayward wants to hang it up. But you still need Derrick Harmon on that line. But you need him as healthy as possible. Injuries are a part of the game. Derrick Harmon knows that. It's an unfortunate part of the game. It sucks that it happened at the last preseason game. He will indeed miss week 1. There's no doubt about it. Derrick Harmon will not see his first bit of real NFL action, regular season action, until the earliest, maybe week 2, maybe week 3. He will for sure miss week 1 versus the Jets, which sucks. That's unfortunate, but Derrick Harmon knows it's part of the game, and it's all about rehab for him now, getting back to 100%. And for the Steelers, it should be the same case. Don't risk anything for this guy.
Take your time with him. I mean, if he's not 100%, don't thrust him out there. Don't put him out there.
Yeah.
You got to be very precautious about him, especially when it comes to knee injuries, which was a thing about Harmon, just before the draft even hit, before the draft, happened. Oh, knee injuries come about. Like, it just came out of the blue, out of nowhere. And now he's already dealing with his MCL sprain. You got to be precautious about it.
In fact, Mike Tomlin has claimed him as week to week for now. For now. Obviously, there are still 2 weeks until the regular season, until week 1. So, say he's out 4 to 6 weeks max. Well, 2 weeks are already cut because of the 2 weeks up until week 1. Week 1, that's 3 weeks. Week 2 is 4 weeks. Obviously, further extension is maybe past the bye week, right? But I think he'll be back before the bye. If the Steelers want to keep him out until after the bye, by all means, because that's when we really need him. That's the long stretch. There is literally no break after week 5 for the Steelers.
No, literally none. It's going to be a tough stretch, a touch battle for the Steelers team. But that's the cards that they were dealt with. That's their schedule. It's just, they're going to have to proceed exactly what they need to do.
I don't think he'll be out until the bye. I think he'll see some action beforehand. If the Steelers want to be extra precautious, that's advised. But if the injury isn't as severe as they feared, which obviously it's not, every report is getting more positive.
Yeah.
He could only miss 1 game, which means we could see him week 2, we could see him week 3. Either way, just make sure that whenever he's played, make sure that the medical team clears him because, again, Harmon's going to be a significant playmaker this year. We need him.
And this, I should point this out, the Cam Hayward situation where he said, he didn't exactly say no when asked about possibly sending out games due to the contract situation. That should not cause the Steelers to panic and thrust Harmon out there if he's not 100%.
No, absolutely
because
not.
I don't think Hayward sets out games. I don't think he does that. He cares too much. He cares about this team. He cares about this squad. And I mean, his holdout is basically over. He was back doing team drills.
Yeah, Hayward was already before the Panthers preseason game. He was already back in uniform and participated in individual practice periods as well as team periods, according to Mike Tomlin. So much for a holdout. He's already back. Yeah, there's talk of him skipping out games to get a new contract, but if he's already back participating with team drills and team periods, seems like that this holdout really isn't much of a holdout. Seems like he cares a little too much, more than he does about his contract, doesn't he? Now, this injury has popped up. I don't think that's more pressure for the Steelers. I think that's more pressure for Hayward. It's like, hey, you signed the contract. We need you now more than ever because Harmon's hurt. Get to playing.
Yeah.
Get to uniform. And he is. He's already back.
Now, who fills in for Harmon exactly? I think you mentioned it several times. You would put Ben over there. I think move him over to 3-tech, and now who plays the nose? That's Y.A. Black right there.
Well, you can also swap them. Y.A. Black can play 3-tech. Benton's played the nose the last 2 years.
You can move him around, ideally. You can. And Y.A. Black, I feel like he's earned that spot. Considering the depth that we have, I mean, he's a rookie there, but, like, he shined. He's performed. He's balled out.
He's had a great summer. Benton, I think, has got so much pass rush upside. And the Steelers, man, I've noticed it in preseason. It's been highly reported in training camp. They like to blitz more this year. I'm hoping that proceeds to regular season action, but the Steelers want to blitz more. They got Jalen Ramsey, who can be the nickel blitz. You got Elliott that can blitz the safety. You got Wilson. You got Holcomb. You got Queen that can blitz. So even though Harmon won't play the first week or two, or maybe further than that, we don't know yet, you got guys that can still get that pressure. So, yeah, losing Harmon is going to suck, but they got so many players on that defense. It's so loaded. They have so many players that can make up for the loss of that, which means, in my opinion, if there's so much success in those areas, if there's so much success in those packages, there is no rush for Harmon. I know we need Harmon, but it's so early into the season, I wouldn't rush it too much. But I'm glad to hear Harmon's injury is as minor as we could have ever thought it could be. It's not severe. It's not season ending like we all feared. And it's all good news. It sucks the injury happened, but considering what happened, considering everything,
this is best case scenario.
This is absolutely best case scenario. This is the best news we could have gotten so far regarding his injury.
He's not going to be out for a long time. He's not out for the full season, thank God. He's in good spirits. He's in a good mindset. He's got Hayward and Watt there to kind of, keep his mind ready and whatnot. Get him to understand, like this is all part of the game.
Oh, he gave them a lot of praise because they especially really cheered him up regarding the injury when he got back to the sideline.
Yeah,
which is good. That shows their leadership skills. That kind of puts Derrick Harmon in a good mindset. It's like, hey, you're just starting this gig now. You're starting this NFL career. These things are going to happen. Hayward and Watt have experienced it, but that's just extra motivation. That's just, work on yourself. You're only going to grow. You're only going to get, this is only the start here. And eventually he's going to be alongside those guys to be hopefully the core pieces along the defense for years to come, right? So I'm glad that Harmon's injury is not severe. It's an MCL sprain that, according to Jerry Dulac, could only keep him out for one game. If I'm the Steelers, I'm still being as precautious as possible. I'm not rushing it. But we'll see what happens.
And listen, if he's ready to go, if he's 100% come week 2, if he's ready to go, get the young bull out there, man.
Either way, I'm very excited for his debut. I'm very excited for his return. Just don't rush it. But it's good to hear that it's only a sprain and he could be back as soon as week 2, which is a good thing. It's also a good thing that this injury happened now, considering the circumstances. It happened now. That way he has a couple weeks to rehab. That way it kind of speeds up the recovery time for a little bit. He's not missing so much in-game action, which is a good thing for the Steelers. So whenever Derrick Harmon comes back, whenever Derrick Harmon finally hits his regular season debut, he can wear that patch. He can really show off that first-round pedigree and that impact for the team. We'll be all excited to see what he can bring to the table when he's fully healthy. So for Derrick Harmon, I'm glad that it's not severe. I'm excited for when his real debut is going to be. And whenever he's on the field, guys, we saw it in preseason. The guy's going to be an animal. Give him time. He's already a beast in the run game. He shows that pass rush upside. So I'm excited to see what he can do alongside Hayward and Benton and so much extra company. I feel like they're only going to complement each other. That's one thing about the defense that stands out to you so far is that front seven so strong. Bringing Harmon back whenever that will be is going to be just another thing to be excited about for this season. So let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. How you guys feeling about the Derrick Harmon injury? Who would you have in place for his injury? One thing is for certain, he will not play week 1. We know that for a fact. He is not expected to hit IR, which is a good thing. They could have, if they wanted to give another guy a spot, but he's not expected to hit IR, which means his injury isn't that severe. And he could be back very, very, very soon, very early into the regular season. And when that day comes, we'll all be behind Derrick Harmon.
Yep. It'll be good to see him rock the 99, rock the Steelers style of play, rock the black and gold, and just go out there and, just adds more motivation to him, make his mother proud.
I can't wait to see him get going in the black and gold, man. Let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. That's the update regarding Derrick Harmon. And in the next couple of days, we will continue to see the Steelers make some unfortunate cuts as they have to trim the roster to 53 players. The cuts are coming very shortly. The deadline is coming before we know it. It'll be interesting to see how the Steelers mold out the roster. There are definitely some question marks regarding certain positions and who could stay, who could go, who could potentially even get traded. We don't know. It'll be interesting next couple of days to see how the Steelers model out the roster and who they could bring in after said cuts. We'll see you guys later this week for the 53-man roster prediction. Otherwise, let us know your guys' thoughts. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Follow us on the socials. Check us out on Spotify. Links down in the description box below. And see you in the next one. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace!